What's good, G-Life? This right here is Killer Cow, California. You already know California is the land of the palm trees, beautiful weather, and the high life. And it is also gang banging capital, home to hundreds and thousands of documented gang members. And with this melting pot of different varrios and street gangs throughout the whole entire state of California, you do get some, varrios with, these strange names and, other varrios that have the same name and, a whole lot of craziness going on in the madness. You know what I mean? So in today's video, we shall be covering all food varrios. Yes, you heard me right. All food varrios. Like the homies from Nopales, the homies from Carne Asada Locos, and a few other barrios, with those kind of names, like named after a food. So we're not, I'm just fucking with you guys. I couldn't help it. Actually, in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about barrios that get confused for each other, barrios who's, people confused for one another. So with no further ado, let's get into it.
Street raised, I was brought up where the G stayed. Peep game, those who didn't catch one to your brain. Stay in your lane, never wolfed it, boy, I never fake. Watch them break, watch them fall, still I remain. Never change, never try to come and rearrange. Never hate, never tripping on somebody's plate. That shit is lame, leave that type of shit for the dames. The streets don't play, yo, catch up, watch your life as capes. One game, homie, that you shouldn't play. There's real soldiers in the streets gunning every day. This shit is normal in the vital part of every day. It ain't great, but I'm loyal, so I'll never change. I keep repeating, but I mean it, never lose your way. Heed the warning and the missing just for talking brave. Fuck my enemies, two faces and all the snakes. Now for this matter, just name the time and name the place. We'll get it active, fuck the gap, and I'm in face to face. Real gangsters never fold, then we never shake. I was brought up to...
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
We'll be starting off with a few sets of varrios that get confused for each other, meaning that there's more than two neighborhoods that get confused for this very exact same neighborhood. Now, I've been told by my homeboy for a while to do this video. I just didn't have time, to come around until now. So here you go, cartoon, pa que dejes de chingar, güey. Shout out to the homie. Now, in order to find this neighborhood, we need to travel to the south side of Los Angeles. Yes, the south portion of LA, meaning areas like, Maywood, Bell, Cudahy, Bell Gardens, Linwood, throughout that region, and the area of Surgate, Southgate. You already know. Southgate is definitely an area that cracks. I'm very familiar with it. It's the area where I reside. So, I know that there's a whole lot of chaos in the area of Southgate. And it is here where we're able to find the first, of these neighborhoods that get confused for each other, which is the barrio SSP. SSP translating to Barrio Southside Players. Barrio Southside Players or Surgate Players is a pretty old school barrio that has been well established right here within the later 80s, early 90s when this neighborhood was established. Now, it started off as just a small group of individuals. Since then, it has multiplied into the barrio in which it is today. Because they are just not only located here, in Surgate, but, in another location that we're going to get into right now. But, first we'll, finish off the Southgate portion. Now, in Southgate, their territory is everything that's on Santa Ana Street. Santa Ana Street, their territory extends all the way to Cypress Avenue. Cypress Avenue, their turf extends all the way to Independence Avenue all the way to California and back around. So everything that's throughout Liberty Boulevard. So that would be like Liberty and Victoria. It would be Liberty and State. Liberty and Madison, Liberty and, Gate Avenue, Liberty and Grandview Avenue. All of that is what's considered the Barrio Southside Players. You know what I mean? The Surgate Players. Like I said, with more than 100 members, these guys are with the business. I should know. I got homies from this neighborhood, a few of them, you know what I mean? And not just located here, but you can also find them in the city of Hawthorne. Yes, also in the city of Hawthorne is where they reside. On 105th Street is where they're located at over there. in those domains, that's where their dojo's at, where they reside. You know what I mean? They have several cliques to their barrio. You see them with the red bandana, but they are homeboys. Another red rag and sureño neighborhood. Like I said, bro, there's a lot of them. You know what I mean? What you want? But they are homeboys, solid individuals. That do their thing. Shout out to all the Southside jugadores, Southside players that hold it down. Shout out to Cartoon. Shout out to Wacko. Shout out to Wolfie. Shout out to Bandit. Shout out to all the camaradas holding it down for the Southside players doing their damn thing. You know what I mean? Now, to find the next barrio in which it gets confused for, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the SGV, the Sur Gangster Valley. To be more specific, we shall be maneuvering our way to the area of Pasadena. To be more specific than that, to the south portion of Pasadena is what we're able to find, the next barrio on the list, which is known as the barrio SSP. SSP translating to Barrio Southside Pasa. Pasa is obviously short for Pasadena. Barrio Southside Pasa is a well-established neighborhood right here in Pasadena. I know people try to say that the area is nice. There can't be no gangs in Pasadena. Like I said, Pasadena hasn't always been this way. And not only that, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because an area looks nice doesn't mean that it is nice. The areas have nothing to do with what creates these gangs. You don't know what happens behind them closed doors. That's what creates, these problems and the gang member, not the area itself. But what happens behind closed doors. Now, in Southside Pasadena is a well-established neighborhood that's already been right here for a cool minute, you know what I mean? This is home to the Tiny Lokes. That's what the TLS means, the Tiny Locos. Click off of theirs. Now, their territory is everything that's throughout Pasadena Avenue, right there where Long Beach freeway's at, the on-ramp, right there on Pasadena Avenue, all the way to California Boulevard. California Boulevard, their territory still extends all the way to Route 66. Route 66, all the way to Del Mars Boulevard, and back around. So everything throughout what's Fair Oak, that would be like Fair Oak and like Belvon Drive, and like Raymond and May Alley and Palmetto Drive, all of that is what's considered the Barrio Southside Pasas, by the Burger King and all of that, you know what I mean? That is where, their territory, lies. That's the danger zone, their domain, their dojo. And this barrio is more than 65 members to it. And like I said, for this area, that's a decent size, because obviously Pasadena being more gentrified already and stuff like that makes, recruitment a lot more harder. But don't get it twisted. Right here, it definitely cracks because you have several, from the South Side Pasadenas, East Side Pasadenas, Villa Boys to the Denver Lanes Bloods, to a bunch of different barrios within Pasadena. So it cracks. Don't ever get it twisted. But the Barrio Southside Pasa, right there holding it down, SSP, like I said, Southside players puts SSP too, but they're different barrios, no connection. I know you see the tattoo SSP and the graffiti is this, SSPs, but they're different, they just have the same abbreviations, but they're different barrios. But yeah, this is what's up with the Southside Pasadena right here, Southside Pasas. Now, to find the other barrio in which it gets confused for, like, damn, another one? Yes, and no, it is not Pomona, because Pomona writes, Pomona Sud, so they don't write Southside Pomona. It's more of Pomona Sud. So it's not Pomona, if that's what you were thinking. But in order to find this barrio, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of the IE. The IE? Yup, the Inland Empire. Now, where exactly in the IE is where we're able to find the next SSP neighborhood on the list? Well, my friend, to the area that is known as Perris. Perris is home to several different barrios. You know what I mean? From the Seven Streeters to the Perris Maravillas to the Perris Low Cribs, to all kinds of different gangs in Perris, and then the Perris Vatos Locos and all kinds of different Perris barrios. And it is here where we're able to also find the barrio Southside Perris. What? Southside Perris? Yes, Southside Perris is a real barrio that's been established right here in Perris for a long time too. You know what I mean? And although the more larger one that people hear about is the Perris Maravilla, obviously because the size and their numbers. But is not the only gang, within the area, because you have several other barrios. And the Southside Perris locals, Perris locals, Southside locals, Southside Perris locals, is how you see it, SSPLS, that's for the Southside Perris locals. And their territory is everything that's on 11th Street. 11th Street, their territory still extends all the way to Pasadena Street. Pasadena Street, their territory extends all the way still to Mercado Street. Mercado Street, their territory still stretches all the way to Perris Boulevard, and from Perris Boulevard back to 11th. So everything that's throughout, that area is considered their barrio. There's a lot of cul-de-sacs and a lot of homes within that area. It's not a big amount of territory, but, close enough, right there close to the Mercado Park. So we're able to find them. It's the danger zone, because right here all the barrios are congested. This is where you have Perris 7th Street, Maravillas, the Perris low cribs, all in one, area right there, that it just, it becomes crazy, right there throughout where the Sun Market liquor store is at. It gets hectic and chaotic, bro, you know what I mean? But this is home to another SSP barrio, the Southside Perris locals, well established right here, holding it down for theirs and putting theirs on the map. Now, to find the next set of neighborhoods that gets confused for each other, now, starting off with a brand new set, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of South Side of Los Angeles back again. The South Side of Los Angeles, but this time making our way to a different area of the South Side of Los Angeles, which we're talking about the area of Huntington Park. Huntington Park is definitely another area that gets on and cracking, homie. You know what I mean? In this area, you have several different gangs, from the Florence gang to the Cyclones to the Huntington Park locals. You know what I mean? It definitely cracks in Huntington Park. Don't ever get it twisted. And it is here where we're able to find another homebred barrio to the Huntington Park area. When people think about Huntington Park, few neighborhoods off the top straight up come to mind, which is always, Florence and the barrio TBZ. TBZ translating to barrio Huntington Park, the Bratz. TBZ, the Bratz. Yes, the Bratz. The Bratz is a real barrio that has been already established here for a long time. And this barrio is a large barrio, with more than a few hundred members to them. At least from what I was told, more than 300 members to them. You know what I mean? Because they are just not located here in Huntington Park, but also located in different other areas, in which, I'll get into right now. But their original birthplace, where they started their home, is here in HP. This is their home. This is where they come from. People could say what they want about the name. Trust me, I have homies from this barrio. This barrio is with the business, homie. They got real individuals from the Bratz Gang. Don't ever let the name deceive you, homie. The TBZ, do not mess around, homie. Now, their territory is everything that lies throughout Randolph Street. Randolph, their territory extends all the way to Miles. From Miles, their turf still heads all the way to Florence. And from Florence, their turf heads out to where State Street's at and back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. So that would be throughout Saturn, that stretches through their neighborhood, throughout Zoe Avenue as well, throughout Gage Avenue as well. It's a pretty, decent chunk of territory, that's considered their barrio, where you're able to find them doing their thing and getting on and popping, And not just here are they located in, like I said, in Huntington Park, but they are also located around the neighboring city, the city of BG. BG obviously being Bell Gardens. Bell Gardens, which is not that far from Huntington Park, you know what I'm saying? You can see why, these barrios will be in different locations. In Bell Gardens is another area where they're well known, and, to put it down, in another area where they're known to, do their damn thing, because over here I know you see TBZ and you see it say sometimes traviesos. Instead of traviesos with a B. Sometimes they write traviesos, but, it's the same thing, the Bratz. That's what it is. The Bratz neighborhood, they have homies that, moved to this area, began recruitment, and, established themselves in Bell Gardens. So you have the HP Bratz and you have the BG Bratz, but it's the same Bratz gang. And in BG, Their territory is throughout Florence, from Florence all the way to Eastern Avenue all the way to Clara, and from Clara all the way to Garfield and back around. That is what's considered the Bratz neighborhood, throughout Harbaneria Road, throughout Live Oak, all of that is what's considered the Bratz and BG, the Bell Garden Bratz. Like I said, these individuals do real things. Like I said, more than 300 members to the gang in both locations. The Bratz do their damn thing. Don't ever let the name, get you guys fooled. These guys will get it on and cracking. Like I said, a well-known barrio throughout the south side of Los Angeles. People have heard of the Bratz Gang. And they still continue to hold it down. So shout out to all the homies from the Bratz, Toro, everybody, that holds it down for the Moreno. Everybody, bro, that holds it down for the TBZ. Now, to find the next barrio on the list that gets confused for this TBZ barrio, we actually have to be traveling to the area of the 805. What? Ventura? Yeah, the 805 is home to one of these TBZ barrios, that gets confused for that TBZ. You would think TBZ is some abbreviation that not that many people would have, that you would think that the Bratz would probably be the only TBZ that was out there. But no, there's another TBZ. And for this TBZ, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the area of Fillmore. Filtro, Spanish term of how they say Fillmore. But Fillmore. And to be more exact, we shall be maneuvering our way to the east side of Fillmore. And it is here in the east side of Fillmore where we're able to find the original neighborhood out of Fillmore, because you do have several gangs in Fillmore, north side Fillmore, south side Fillmore, and all of that. But this is the original, the first, the ones that were holding it down since the 80s. You have the east side Fillmores, or the east side Filtros, the Boys Gang. TBZ, the Boys. That's Boys with a Z. The Boys is a well-established neighborhood right here that has been established here since the 80s, that they were established, the later 80s, when they, planted their flag. And their territory is everything throughout Eastside Filtros, everything throughout the Po Creek, through the Po Creek all the way to 3rd. And from 3rd, the territory still extended all the way to A Street. From A Street, their turf went all the way to Ventura Street and back around. Everything that's in the middle, throughout 1st, throughout 2nd, all of that, 3rd, is what's considered their barrio. Like I said, a pretty big chunk size of territory. And not to be confused with the Little Boys, this is the Boys. The Little Boys is, Northside Filtros, which is rivals. You don't want to confuse the two, because even though they're both boy neighborhoods, bro, they get it on and cracking. You know what I mean? There's heavy animosity between, these neighborhoods, so you don't want to confuse them. The Boys neighborhood, like I said, they're the originators, in this area. And like I said, it had no connection to the Bratz, just the same TBs. They both use TBZ in their tattoos, their graffiti, but this is Eastside Filtros, TBZ. So I know people were trying to say, yeah, no, the Bratz are in the 805 too. I seen it up, TBZ. Nah, that TBZ means the Boys. So it's not the same thing, you know what I mean? But I can see where people get them confused. But yeah, they're right here, well established in the 805, the Boys neighborhood, been holding it down for the east side of Filtros, and continue to still be representing right there and putting theirs on the map.